Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I figured I'd give y'all a NBA video of some sort. Can't be too long because I do want to be able to take a video on the way back, make a video on the way back. And we got 43 minutes left since the last one that I made was so long. But it's something that I wanted to talk about in regards to the Lakers that wasn't mentioned yesterday in my recap of the Wizards game, and that was LeBron James sitting down at the 3-minute mark of the fourth quarter regulation of that overtime game. I identified that he did that, but it slipped through the cracks and just simply forgot. But Darvin did sit him for a minute and a half. He tried to get him back in the game, but a couple plays went by that probably shouldn't have went by. We did have 2 timeouts. He didn't call them. If the idea is to get LeBron rest, you could have called a timeout to provide that rest on top of the time that he had already missed, instead of letting those plays transpire without him on the floor. So it's just, terrible Darvin Ham decision making per usual. What can I say, man? What y'all want me to say? When it comes to Darvin Ham, it's hard to be respectful. You got to really bite your tongue to not say what it is that you really think about this decision making and how he's doing without being absolutely and utterly disrespectful. It's hard not to. He's not making good decisions out there. You sitting LeBron James at the 3-minute mark when the game's close, in a game you can't lose against a bad team who's shooting well, and then you end up going into overtime. Who's to say we don't have to go into overtime if you would have had him on the floor and maybe LeBron asked for that rest? And then I asked LeBron James, why didn't that rest come sooner? Why would you even co-sign that? It's a 3-minute mark. You're down 1 or whatever it was, and you're going to sit down between the 3-minute mark and the 1:11 mark? Are you crazy? Why would you even okay that? That rest should have came at the 7-minute mark. That rest should have came at the 9-minute mark. The hell you wait till the end of the game to want to take a breather? Like, these are the type of things that somebody needs to answer, man. And this is what I was concerned about, is these are the type of things that would slip through the cracks. We would have definitely had on our mind if we would have lost the game. Now, obviously, we can't afford to have those type of losses at this stage in the game because of all the bad losses that we've already taken on as a team. But make no mistake about it, this team can't afford to be making the mistakes that they're making at this point. We can't afford to have this type of stuff happen at all. The fact that we were able to win these last 2 games was miracles. And I know a lot of people say a win is a win. I guess I just have a different way of looking at it, because when you talk about basketball, a win is not just a win. If you're going to play bad 2 games in a row, those are tendencies that you're going to carry into other games. And not just a win is a win. Now, if we just want to celebrate any old victory, that's fine. There's a world where I don't know if I'm going to live to see tomorrow, so anytime the Lakers win, I should be excited and celebrate it like it's the last game ever. If that's how you think, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with that, but that ain't how I think. I think we're here for championships. You know what I mean? I think that if we win games that we play awful in with big games ahead, and then we take those tendencies into them games and lose, the only thing that you gain from having won the game prior to was the W itself. Nothing that'll help you in the games coming. And that's exactly the circumstance the Lakers are in. I ain't got no reason to believe they're going to beat the Denver Nuggets, even with Jamal Murray potentially out with a bad ankle injury. I ain't got no reason to believe we're going to beat the champs. Why? Because of how poorly we played in the last 4 matchups against them, but more importantly, the last 4 matchups, period, since the All-Star break. Got no reason to believe we're going to win that damn game. Against Jokic? Man, please. And that's the problem. It's like, if we lose last night, then you focus on all the things that went wrong. You shame Darvin to hell for all them bad mistakes. And you have them on the forefront of your mind in ways that when you win, you ain't going to have those thoughts on your mind. And that's what I'm saying to you. I'm not saying we should have lost, because we definitely don't want to lose. We can't afford to have those type of circumstances within what it is we're dealing with. But in a nutshell, it probably is best to lose them games so that you have the right talking points and the right amount of frustration attached to those talking points necessary to ensure you don't make them mistakes again. If I'm being completely honest with you. Instead of people saying, well, we won, so I forgot that LeBron was setting the 3-minute mark. No, you need to remember that. We won, so I forgot how bad our defense was. No, you need to remember that. You see what I'm saying? And you need to be upset about it. You need to shame the hell who let that be the case, so that they can feel as if they failed when they did, instead of being bailed out by a horrible team that doesn't want to win, like the Washington Wizards. So for me, it's like those rotations we've been seeing since Cam Reddish came back have been some of the worst rotations of Darvin's career, man. Some of the worst rotations we've seen since he's been a Laker coach have happened over the last 3 games. Although I want to recant that by saying there was that time where you put that starting lineup on the floor that didn't have no point guard in it for like 3 games in a row. I think that was the worst. But this is close. It's close. And just the choices that we make in regards to getting rest for LeBron James. You don't want to call timeouts because you want to rest LeBron James. But don't you realize that those timeouts provide rest at the end of games? In situations like last night, you sit him, and then you call a timeout when you get an opportunity to, and he gets that minute of rest as well as the time set. And then you got 1 timeout left, for which you probably didn't use before regulation. They're going to reset those timeouts, if I'm not mistaken, to 3 in overtime. It's just like, yo, what are we doing? How come it's so difficult for this coach to come up with good stuff and make sense, man? Why it's so hard for him to make good decisions? So that's what I'm asking all of y'all. Can somebody please tell me why it's so hard for this coach to make a good damn decision? Seriously. Guy's 39 years of age, playing in his 21st season, having played more minutes than anybody else. And that's what makes this even more incredible in regards to LeBron James. It ain't just that he's playing 21 seasons. It's that he's played more minutes than anybody else. Not just within a 21-year span, more than anybody else, period. He's played more minutes than anyone else. And so we keep toying around with his genetic makeup as if he can keep doing this for 100 more years. And my thing is, stop that. Stop that. Let's devise ways of getting him rest responsibly, rather than having him playing back-to-backs, being the focal point of both games, to where he's so tired in the 3rd minute with 3 minutes left to go in the game that he can't even play to finish the game. He can't even be down there on that stretch. There got to be a smarter way of getting that man his rest. There's got to be a smarter way of panning this out. And I do blame the schedule makers to a degree, because they've given us a lot of back-to-backs. We still got 2 more back-to-backs coming, 3 more back-to-backs coming in a 22-game span. That's just really awful how they did LeBron James in that way. They didn't have to do him like that. And that's exactly how I'm looking at it. They did not have to give that man more back-to-backs. I don't know, in comparison to other teams, I haven't checked everybody's schedule, but it seems to me they gave us more back-to-backs than we've ever had this season in year 21 for him. And this is disrespectful. But, you know, at the same time, it's like, he's handled it pretty well, I think. But last night was a time, with him being sat, and at the time he was set, I just think that probably going to cost you the game in most situations. And if you lose that game, it's the type of thing that makes people want to fire the coach even further. It's one more reason to get rid of your coach. And it's I think it was Trevor Lane who said it. He didn't believe that happens without LeBron co-signing it. I don't give a damn if LeBron co-signs that. I just look at LeBron James and the coach and say, y'all both making bad decisions. That's it. That's all I say there. I'm not moved by it. It's a bad decision if Bron do it. It's a bad decision if coach do it. It's a bad decision if they collaborate on it and decide it's the right way to go. It's a bad decision. You do not sit your best player in crunch time of a close game. You don't do that. You find a way to get his rest before that. Period. Just because he's cool with it don't mean it's something that should be done. It shouldn't be done. So that's what I'm saying to all of y'all, man. To say I'm disappointed is not, they don't give it enough, they don't put enough emphasis on it, man. I'm tired of this. As a Laker fan, what I've seen over the last 2 years, it's irritating, man. I ain't really enjoyed this season like that. That's what I was telling you guys a couple videos ago. I ain't really been having fun with this season. Because I be seeing stuff I don't believe in on the basketball floor as it pertains to how we're using our rotation. I think we're leaving a lot of production on the bench. I think a lot of stuff has not been our fault with injury issues and players, that just haven't panned out. You got Jalen Hood-Schifino, who wasn't ready to contribute. You got Gabe Vincent, who was out with signing a $15 million 3-year deal. That's a lot of talent that could have been made up in other areas of your cap. So I'm not devoid of a reasoning when it comes to looking at this team and saying, okay, a lot of stuff been outside of our control. Vando's been out for most of the season. Cam Reddish been in and out of the lineup constantly. It's just been a lot with your role players. Austin having a down year. D'Lo playing bad for the majority of the first half of the season. Rui starting the season hurt. There's a lot of stuff. I get it. And so, I try to reel it in that regard, but it's like even still, it's like we still have a lot of talent that we're not utilizing properly. And so I just think that when in the presence of all of that, coaches said, okay, let me go to my guy, Torian. I trust him. Let me give him big minutes and just try to weather the storm that way. And that's not a good decision. That's a bad coach's decision when you take a limited basketball player and shove him to the top of your damn depth chart. Proceed to lose doing so and then keep up the process. Running your team into a 500 ball club when you didn't have 500 talent otherwise, in my opinion. Took him more than half a season to go back to the unit that worked in the playoffs when all 5 of those guys are still on the team, man. I mean, at some point in time, you just got to look at a coach and say, dog, you're choosing stuff that's making us worse. You're choosing this. You're making decisions that turn us into a 500 ball club. And you're sticking with those decisions all damn season long. You know what I mean? And guys, Anthony Davis and LeBron James been healthy all year. Can you imagine if we would have had them missing time? How bad of a team we would have been with these decisions? I told y'all this at the beginning of the season. If you're going to push, and I'm going to say this to the best of my way, if you're going to push your worst stuff to the front of the line and have it be what represents you, then you're going to get what comes with that. You know what I'm saying? Cam Reddish is a nice defensive player. He's helped us in some areas, but you push him to the front of the line. You push Taurean Prince, who's an average player, to the front of the line, and you let them be on the floor a good portion of the time, and you're gonna lose. Because they're not built for that type of role. Now, if you let them stay in roles that they're best in, and you use the players that are really good on your team a little more, the Rui's, if you would have utilized Rui the way everybody else would have wanted you to, then you would have probably had a better record because you would have developed Rui more so. He would have scored more. He would have been a weak side help more so. These are things that if he trusted Rui like he trusts Torian, we probably have 6 or 7 more wins under our belt. But that's how real that is, in my opinion. If he trusted Max like he trusts Cam would have been healthier. Because the issue with Cam Reddish is that he's been overused and thus he's been not very durable. He hurt himself again last night. I keep telling this team, if Cam is healthy, if you deem him ready to play, let him sit for another week and a half in the gym working on the areas in question. Because every time you bring him back, he gets hurt again. Every time you think he's healthy enough to play, he gets re-injured. So that tells me his conditioning is not where it needs to be. You got to keep sitting him after he's 100% healthy so that he can strengthen. And they keep on bringing him back. They keep on doing this stupid stuff. And he keeps on going down. And yet again, we're probably going to be without Cam Reddish tomorrow against Denver because of that very same thing. And so it's like, man, this organization needs to start learning these from these mistakes, man. And I look up and I say, and I made this point when we made these decisions. So this isn't a new point. I'm gonna tell y'all. If you're gonna sign Gabe Vincent and you're gonna retain D'Lo, you're gonna draft Jalen Hood-Schifino, you're gonna retain Austin. You gotta understand how little athleticism you have with those 4 guards. They're all layup guys. The one who's gonna dunk the most is probably Austin Reeves. The rest of these guys are not athletic at all. Why do I draft Jalen Hood-Schifino and then turn around and sign Gabe Vincent? Why do I need 2 unathletic point guards that in my rotation? I guess for me it's like, and so I let go of Russell Westbrook, who's athletic as hell, who puts all the pressure on the rim, and then I pass on Cam Whitmore for Jalen Hood-Schifino, who's another Gabe Vincent. These are the type of things I'm just look back and I'm like, I would have never done that, fam. Laker family, I would have never done that, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you. If I'm drafting Jalen Hood-Schifino, I'm giving my $15 million to somebody else other than Gabe Vincent, y'all. I'm not gonna bring myself so little athleticism, so little durability, man. I would have never did that. I don't know what our GM was on when he decided he wanted this prototype of player all over his roster. Guys that can lay the ball up, who are likely going to be pushed around. Give me as many of them as possible. Like, why the hell did you want so much of that on the roster when you could have had Cam Reddish, a certified bulldog, on a rookie contract? And then still signed your Gabe Vincent. You know what I'm saying? And you had Scottie Pippen Jr., who's another one of those guys. Only Scottie got more athleticism than all those guys, and that's the one you let go of. It's like, and you see how he's playing in Memphis. It's like, why do I want unathletic point guards on my team, fam? Why did you do that? Is essentially what I'm saying to my general manager. Rob, why did you do that? I don't need all them dudes. No, I don't. Not all of them. And then you look up halfway through the season, they talking about getting athleticism, and they bring themselves another one of them dudes. And Spencer Dinwiddie. It's like, what the hell, man? Why do we keep getting the same player over and over and over again? Why do you do this to us? And you know how good of the team we would be in our rotations with Cam Whitmore on this roster now? Do y'all have any idea how much stronger we would be as a team if we had that bulldog on this team? That bulldozer of a man who dunks on everybody, who would have beat the dog crap out of Devin Booker. I don't know why Devin Booker want to pick a fight with that dude. You ain't going to win that fight, Devin. I'll tell you right now, you ain't going to win that fight. There's no part of me as a basketball fan thought any of this was better for the Lakers, man. None of this is good for us. I need my coach to put much more of an emphasis on natural God-given athleticism from here on out. I'm not saying bring in an idiot that can only jump, because I know those guys exist. We do not want them. But if the dude cannot jump, we got enough of them. If the dude is not very strong, we got enough of them. You understand what I'm saying? If a dude only lays the ball up, we have enough of that. Rob, we got enough of that. Stop being so enamored with unathletic tweener guards. Stop this. If you got another Cam Whitmore on the board, which you won't, because the number 5 overall prospect is not going to drop to 20 ever again. It's likely not going to happen. If he's any good, it's probably not going to happen. So that's a mistake you can only make once. But if for some reason something like that does happen again, or you get a similar player like that, take him, dog. Take him. Anyway, I'm where I need to be. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.